Underdog Best Ball segment of the week. Tough one this week, at least for me to come up with. Our top 5 do not draft players on Underdog. By the way, with Underdog, definitely be sure to use promo code RWMLB. They'll not only double your initial deposit up to $100, but you also get 6 months of RotoWire for free. So really a heck of a deal. And I'm having a lot of fun playing on there. Again, promo code RWMLB. But the guys I'm not ending up with, not drafting on Underdog, really are, contest specific. A lot of these guys getting pushed up because of the format. Like a guy like Kyle Schwarber, who's number 1 on my list, ADP 16.2 on Underdog. That's one that maybe it's a disconnect between Roto and this points league, but and the outfield madness that we've talked about. But 16 for Kyle Schwarber seems way too high, even in a points format where he's not docked for the low average. This feels one where people are chasing the outfield position a little too much after that first tier and pushing Kyle Schwarber up more than he deserves.
I got him ranked 13th overall
for best ball.
Yeah, in this format, using the outfield replacement, blah blah blah. Schwarber is my 13th overall. Now I usually haven't gotten him, but I think I can see where it's coming from. I'm going to be honest. I did not do picking my players because you got me on the road and et cetera, traveling this week. So I'm going to do more of a. I'm going to do more about Phil. You said do not draft. I'm going to be more of a complete the following sentence. Do not draft. So my first do not draft is do not draft your third infielder before you have at least 3 outfielders and 3 pitchers.
Okay, that's a little. It's just more that I have to type down, but that's a good way to go about it. So I got that down so that people can
just put weight on infield.
Yeah, it's crazy the infielders that are still sitting around late. And with that in mind, kind of leads into my next guy, Bobby Witt Jr., ADP 32. You don't need steals to compete in the category. I wonder exactly how valuable the bat will be in this points format. And ADP of 32 with guys like Real Muto hanging around late, all these great infielders late. I feel like Bobby Witt's honestly kind of a bust pick at 32 in this format.
No, for sure. I think I agree with you there because I have him 48th overall. So below. I will agree as far as that goes. I'm going to come up with some players just because. But my next, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, do not draft anybody who's hurt. You only get 10 active players, and you get 20 spots. You're going to get players that are hurt, and there's no pickups.
Placement. Yeah, no pickups.
People are taking Bryce Harper. You know what? There's my do not draft. Do not draft Bryce Harper. And I don't know if he's on your list or not.
No, he was not on my list.
Harper. People, what they're saying, and this is a cut line sort of format, and where after a certain time, the top 2 teams make it, and then they keep cutting them down. So what people are in their glory minds are saying, if I can get to the playoffs and then Bryce Harper comes back, I'm going to win it. I want to get there first. And I don't think this is my first in the format. So maybe that is the way to go. But I don't believe it is, at least from where I'm sitting, which right now is in West Palm Beach behind this big orange thing. But so I'm not drafting Bryce Harper because I think that spot's too valuable. I want to get to the playoffs, and who's to say that he's going to carry you anyway? So do not draft Bryce Harper.
I like that one too. I considered him for my list because I'm with you. Like, if he's not going to give you anything over the first 3 months, that's just a dead roster spot through the first prelim stages of the contest. So I'm with you there. And I actually have 2 outfielders next up on my list. Adolis Garcia at 43 on Underdog. He really, as a do not draft player for me, carries over to Roto as well. Just don't get it. He's played well the past few years, don't get me wrong, but that's been despite some really shaky plate skills that I think leave him open to some significant downside. So I have him on my do not draft at 43 on Underdog. And then the other outfielder, Luis Robert, ADP 48.8 on Underdog. I mentioned this to Jeff, and he pushed back, and it really isn't quite getting to Mondesi levels, but starting to get a little, with all the missed time from Luis Robert, starting to get a little Mondesi vibe with the missed time anyway. And at that price point, I just think it's too steep.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you say Mondesi, I think Byron Buxton, although maybe Buxton's too good of a talent for Robert, but I think Robert's talent for a while was in that Buxton range. But I'm with you as far as that goes. Now I actually had a player. All right. So Musgrove fits into the injured. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to use Yu Darvish, and it's more about. And I know that you don't get a whole ton of 2-start weeks, but I'm going to shy away from the rotations that have 6-man rotations, because that reduces the ability to get a 2-start week even further. Mm-hmm. And it's those 2-start weeks that really bump up your points when you only got 3 pitchers. And the way I play is I want my first 2 pitchers in there every week, and I'm looking for a guy to spike in that 3rd week. So I need the 2 starts. And San Diego and some other teams just aren't getting as good as Darvish is. It's going to be, he's just not going to get if you get 32 starts in 26 weeks, you're only looking at 6 or 7 2-start weeks, the way things play out. And then you're down to 4, if that, with 6-man rotations. So Darvish I'm going to say Darvish as my representative for pitchers on staffs with 6-man rotations.
Nice. My final do not draft player on Underdog for this year is Hunter Green, and this pains me to say as a Reds fan. But at ADP 91, that's even higher than he's going in most drafts I see. So much working against the guy. Bad park to pitch in, brutal park to pitch in, frankly. I mean, it's reaching Coors levels. Great American Small Park in terms of runs scored. Bad team, 2-pitch guy, and as great as that fastball is, if hitters are sitting on it, they'll poke it out of that park. So Hunter Green is a guy that, with the talent, I think people are chasing the upside, but I think it'll be a year or 2 more before it really comes together in full for Hunter Green.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's nice to hear you, be non-biased about the Reds. When you said
bias
Green,
in the other direction.
Yeah.
Negative bias.
When I hear you said Green, I'm thinking Riley Green, who's actually on my I like this guy list. And I'm going to go with a guy, and it has nothing. I was trying to think of guys inherent to underdog strategy. So I'm a little out of my element. I'm not in my room. I'm like in a big hallway here, so I'm a little slower today.
I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, just a little. But anyway, I'm going to use a guy that I'm going to say Spencer Strider.
Okay.
And I kind of alluded to I want 2 pitchers who I expect to be in my lineup every week. When I'm at 12 in this thing, I got Burns and Cole like twice. So I want like 2 pitchers really early. It doesn't have to be Burns and Cole. And then my 3rd pitcher, I'm drafting 6 pitchers total. I was at 7. I'm drafting 6 pitchers total. I want one of those 4 to just pop in that week. To me, with Strider's being drafted, he's being counted on every week. And I don't know how many innings he's going to get. And I think the innings going to be tempered. So the same way as in Roto, the same reason here, I don't see him getting the innings commensurate with his draft price.
Hey, that's fair. I know we differ on Strider, but you make a lot of good points. So my top 5 do not draft on Underdog: Kyle Schwarber, Bobby Witt Jr., Adolis Garcia, Luis Robert, and Hunter Green. And Todd's do not draft your 3rd infielder before you have at least 3 outfielders and 3 pitchers. Do not draft anybody who's hurt, including Bryce Harper. Do not draft Yu Darvish and then Spencer Strider.